Welcome to Caseback Watches. My name is Tim, and in this episode I have the pleasure to give away a really serious piece of equipment. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a training, this is reality. Yes, those are our topics today. A clock designed and manufactured for a Russian fighter plane. I have it here in the studio. I will show it to you. I will give it away then. And Caseback Watches viewer Andre sent me, not as a gift, but just for a review, his Buran watch. Very interesting, Russian brand, relatively affordable, loaded with nice specifications and features, good looking design overall, and so absolutely worth an in-depth review here. But first the question, from where did I get this MIG clock? And the explanation is very simple. I've checked the homepage Polojot24.de by Julian Kampmann. He sells Russian and Chinese watches. And I just was cruising around there to check out if I find something interesting, and then I thought, oh no, come on, this is not serious. You don't have those MIG watches there. And those are not pieces for reenactment, so fakes or props. Those are really proper watches manufactured in the Soviet Union for the MiG-29 fighter plane. And this plane was introduced or put in service 1977. And of course it's electrified over and over, but they still want mechanical clocks in the cockpit. And I thought this together with the Buran in one video, it's just perfect. And then I asked Julian if he's okay with a giveaway. Because, I mean, not everybody is loaded. And sometimes a giveaway for some people is the only way to win or to have a nice clock or a nice watch. And so from time to time I do these giveaways. And Julian said yes. And so thank you very much, Julian Kampmann by Polojot24.de for this possibility. And now enough talk. Let's go on the light box. Let's check out the clock and the Buran watch. Okay, here we are with the star of this video, a clock, aviation clock produced for the service in a MiG-29 fighter aircraft. And of course I will not show you a wrist chart with this clock, but as usual we can go over the measurements and the basic specifications. We have here a case diameter of 80 millimeters and a height of 69 millimeters. And here you see really rough equipment. Here you see this type of metal, and the clock is hand wound. I will show you how to operate it. Of course, hand wound, has a chronograph, a second stop and other features, and inside we have a very big movement with 26 joules, 18,000 beats, so it's slow. You can hear this, I think. There it is. And the power reserve is 72 hours. This seems a lot, but we are used to the power reserve of wristwatches, but with a clock you have more space, more winding space, so to speak. And so it's very often that clocks come with a huge power reserve compared to wristwatches. Crystal here is mineral glass, at least it feels like that and sounds like mineral glass. And as shown, we have a metal case with some possibilities to connect the thing to the fighter aircraft electronic system, but the clock itself is hand wound, and the reason for this is of course that it has to work even when the system in the aircraft has some failures. Then the watch or the clock still works. And this display here of course is modern. This is a modern component. The clock itself comes in something like that. There you have this thing, so if you have an actual MIG in your foregarden, so then you can install it properly with this thing. And now let's go over the functions. We have two buttons, and this is very simple now. You can wind the clock. This feels substantial, I can show you that. Feels great. And if you pull it, then you can set here the time. You can set the time like that. Push it again, and this element is to stop the seconds. This is very handy when you have to set this clock very precise. Then you can wait for a beep, for instance, in your headphones, and when the beep comes, then let's go. And you have also here a chronograph with 60 minutes, and to start it you have to push that button. There you are. Push it again, stopped, and now reset it. But that's not all. We have another counter here, 12-hour counter, and you can connect this counter to this chronograph. So when I start the chronograph now, it's not connected. It's not connected. We only measure time with this subdial here. But when I use this button to enable this counter, now they are connected, and now you can measure time up to 12 hours here. And then you can stop it again, reset this thing, and here you can reset this one. You don't see it because we had to wait very long to see this thing in action, several minutes or hours, and so, but now it's reset. And now I disconnect those both subdials again, and we have only this thing here in service. And so overall a very advanced construction with this stop function here, with this second stop. Then you can measure one time with this and another time with this. And on the internet you find a lot of case studies, if you will so, to explain which function you use for which flight maneuver. But I'm not a pilot, and so unfortunately I cannot go so much into detail. But I want to point out one interesting observation. See that cathedral hand here? Cathedral hands, they are a bit seen like steampunk or diesel punk, like a decorative element. And I've wondered why they used those hands, those type of hands. They don't look very military and they don't look very functional. But I think if you want to implement a massive amount of loom in such a tiny thing, then you risk cracks, especially if the watch is one time cold, then very hot. You risk cracks in the loom. But if you separate the loom portions with a little piece of metal between them, then this might reduce the risk. And interesting is also that you can connect the clock here to the electronic system of the MIG so that the MIG can heat the thing. Because imagine if it's very cold, if you're close to the stratosphere, then everything becomes very cold. And I could imagine that this would affect the clock, and so you can heat it with this screw here. So very interesting. Yes, and that's all I can tell you here about the functionality and the features of this clock. And little warning now, you cannot use it on your bedside table because the tick-tock is just too loud. But in your study, in your office, or in your workshop, I think this is an amazing, amazing addition. Okay, and our next guest here is now a watch by Buran. Here we are, very different look, of course. We still hear the tick-tock by the clock, by the way, but I think we can tolerate this. So this was sent in by Andre, a viewer of the channel, and he just asked me if I'm interested to examine this watch. And of course I was very interested because it's so beautiful and unique with a very advanced movement. I will explain you the details, of course, but first let's go over the basic measurements here. This is a tonneau form, and the problem with tonneau forms, they can be huge on the wrist. Then you think, oh, this looks okay, but then you have this fat bug on your wrist and you think, oh God, I've bought something completely wrong. But this is not the case here, because the case diameter, or let's say the width here, is 36 millimeters, so very contemporary. The length is 47 and the height is 13. So this is a very nice size, I think, for the average wrist and this style of watch. Lug width here is 20 millimeters. We have a sapphire crystal here, and we have quite some functions. We have the date on position 12, chronograph, here are the seconds, there's the 30-minute counter. And here we have a moon phase. Here we have a full-blown moon phase, as you can see. We have a pretty busy dial, so this watch is not super legible, as you may see, but I think it's one of the watches you want look at a bit longer, just to honor all those elements here on the dial, because this is really something very, very beautiful. Also the case form. And now let's go to the movement. The movement here is a Polojot movement, and this is the Polojot 31679, pretty advanced, 20,600 beats only, slow, 25 joules, but a power reserve of 51 hours. Hand winding, as you can see, with a good reputation regarding robustness and precision. And it's hand winding, I said, and it feels beautiful, just beautiful. Very creamy and buttery, really just nice. And what I also like here is that you can set the time with position 1, because there is only a position 1. And now you have a quick set for the date, which I love because it cannot break so easily, or I think it's very, very hard to ruin that quick set. You go until the date is changing, and now you go back. And normally you have to go back hours and hours and hours, and it's very, it's work to set the date. But here, focus please, here you can go to the 11, and that's it. See that? How quick you can cycle through the entire date here. Very nice construction. The chronograph here is basic functionality. Push a 1, starts it, and then stops it, and this is the reset button. So this is very simple. We all know this system, I think. And the quick set for the moon phase is in absence. Yeah, this is the problem, in absence. You don't have any form of quick set for the moon phase. And so I see this moon phase here more as a gimmick than a real function. But let's be honest, guys, who uses his moon phase or her moon phase for another purpose than for decoration? A dial decoration, which is, yeah, in motion. And so I think we can see over this, because this watch retails at around 600 euros, which are roughly 660 US dollars. And so we have a very affordable watch with very good and high quality components. And so I think it's no way to implement a full working moon phase with quick set and all this stuff in this watch here. And the watch is equipped, by the way, with one of my straps, available in October. Very nice product. I've used this one here over weeks now, and it's, yeah, the good performance, I can tell you this, good performance, very reliable and very robust, and at the same time beauty, and goes with, yeah, most watches, I'm happy to state here. And now a last question here. People often ask, what's Buran? It's connected to Polojot or not? Who is the manufacturer actually behind this piece here? And the explanation is the company Volmax. This is a Russian company, I think founded 2000, if I recall correctly. And they bought some Russian brands. And amongst them is Buran. From Polojot comes the movement and the case from another company, and they assemble it, they test it, because those watches are meant for export, and so you have to gain a certain quality. And it seems that they reached this quality, because what I've personally seen here and what I experienced is absolutely state of the art. You can wear this watch like a German watch, like a Swiss watch, like watches from respectable brands and countries with some watchmaking history and tradition. Okay, and here you see the wrist shot, the watch on my 17 centimeter wrist. And you see, absolutely a statement, but it's not too big. It's not too big, it's relatively comfortable. And of course it offers a spectacular look. Look at this. Very, very nice, very interesting and rich look. Okay, price and availability, as said, 600 euros. It's a bit difficult to state here exact reference numbers and model names, because I don't find here one, to be honest. And you see this Buran watch with a lot of varieties. There are some with alarm functions in it, with a chronograph, without a chronograph. And so I think you have to check out via Google Shopping if you want to purchase such a watch. And of course you find them from time to time on the used market, eBay, Chrono24. And so if you like the look, if you like the movement and the form, of course, then yeah, this might be a good addition to a watch collection. So Andre, thank you very much for landing this in. This was a pleasure to see and to wear this piece here. Okay, welcome back. And how to participate now, how to enter the giveaway. It's very simple. Just write an email, not to my regular email address. Please don't do it, because I have to sort then everything out by hand, and this is a very boring task. And so please use that extra email address, giveaway migclock@icloud.com. And you can just write me your name. Hi, I'm Nguyen from South Korea, and I like to have that clock, please. And this giveaway is open for 24 hours, okay? So before you send me an email, check the description, please. There you find the exact terms and conditions, and you find giveaway open or giveaway closed. And it's open for 24 hours as said, so one round for the globe so that everybody can enter. And the winner will be announced on my Instagram site, caseback_Tim, and of course here under this video and in one of the following videos then. And so that's all for this episode. Julian Kampmann, thank you very much for this possibility here. Andre, thank you very much for your trust. Your Buran is now in the mail back to you to the Netherlands. And dear viewer, if you want to know what comes next, then please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so that you get your notifications. And now let me thank you very much for your attention, and until next time.